Greetings, dear friend. Sit by the fire, for the night grows colder, and even here in the sheltered valleys of Rivendell, a winter wind can chill the heart. Take your seat, and tonight I will take you far from these silver-gladed halls, to a land seldom spoken of among the elves. I am speaking, of course, of the Shire, the quaint little green country of the Hobbits. Perhaps you have heard tales of this little land, or perhaps you have even crossed its borders yourself, though I doubt you've seen its heart. But know this, the Shire, though far from the epic tales of elven kind, has a beauty and charm all of its own, though perhaps only revealed to those who walk in its rolling fields with patience and an open heart. I have passed through this land many times throughout the ages, and watched it evolve from wild hills into the home of a charming little people. The Shire lies to the northwest of Middle-earth, bound by the river Brandywine to the east and the western marshes that give way to the blue mountains far beyond. Though it may appear simple, its folk rustic and its history humble, the Shire is as intricate as a finely woven tapestry, divided into distinct regions, each with its own character and charm. As we sit here by the fire, I shall tell you of these regions now, the 4 Farthings, Buckland, and the Westmarch. Long ago, upon its founding, the Hobbits divided their land into 4 quarters, or Farthings as they call them. There was the North Farthing, the South Farthing, the East Farthing, and the West Farthing. Each Farthing is unique, and each reflects the character of its Hobbit inhabitants in its own way. I will begin with the North, for that was my first glimpse of the Shire, and a sight that I have never forgotten. The North Farthing is perhaps the least travelled by the rest of Middle-earth. Lying in the upper reaches of the Shire, it is a place where cold winds sweep down from the distant hills, and here snow is not uncommon. Indeed, it is the only part of the Shire where a true winter chill settles. The North Farthing folk are hardy hobbits, used to colder days and quiet seasons. Many are hunters, though of course hobbits do not hunt as men do. They take only what they need and have a reverence for the woods and the fields, similar to us elves. It is also in the North Farthing that you would find the legendary Greenfields. It was here, long ago, that Bandabras Took, otherwise known as Bullroarer, rallied his folk to fend off a band of goblins that had strayed into the Shire. Ah, a rare day of battle for the hobbits. The Bullroarer, they say, was so tall he could ride a horse. Imagine that for a hobbit. And he swung his great club to victory, even knocking the goblin leader's head clear off. Soon afterwards, the goblins, of course, fled in terror, and so ended one of the only wars in the Shire's history. The people of the North Farthing remember those tales with pride, though they rarely boast. You may think hobbits avoid tales of conflict, but in the North Farthing, the memory of the Bullroarer is passed down as part of their quiet heritage, a testament to their own resilience against unwanted outsiders. Now, if you were to travel southward, as I did in my time wandering those lands, you would come to the South Farthing. Here is where the hobbits produce their finest crops, and they will tell you it is the heart of their country's prosperity. It is in this region that the rich farmlands yield abundance in wheat, vegetables, and most notably in pipeweed. Yes, pipeweed. I see your look. Elves have little use for the practice, and I myself find it strange, but it is, after all, one of the hobbits' most beloved customs. The village of Longbottom, in the South Farthing, is where the first true pipeweed plants grew, cultivated by Tobold Hornblower many generations ago. From Longbottom came the famous leaf varieties, Longbottom leaf, Old Toby, and Southern Star. Hobbits enjoy their pipes with such reverence they might call it an art form, though I cannot imagine partaking myself. I respect their pleasure in it. Indeed, Gandalf himself often enjoys the leaf, as many of you may have noticed. And if that is the case, then all the best to them. The South Farthing folk are perhaps the most prosperous of the hobbits, yet simple in their own ways. They care deeply for their crops and the land, for they know well that the Shire's prosperity depends on the tilling of the soil and the sowing of seeds. They are less inclined to adventure and have little interest in tales beyond their own fields. But the South Farthing brings warmth and bounty to the Shire, and its importance cannot be overlooked, even by outsiders. If you were to turn eastward from the heart of the Shire, you will find yourself in the East Farthing. This region borders the River Brandywine, and across its waters lies the peculiar land of Buckland. More on that soon, for Bookland deserves a story of its own. The East Farthing, however, is a land of gentle hills and winding paths, and its people tend to be more curious than their kin in the south. Here is where the Marish lies, a marshy region close to the river, where the soil is rich and perfect for farming. The hobbits of the Marish are known for their skill with watercraft, rare indeed among hobbits, who typically prefer solid ground. You may even hear tales here of strange folk beyond the river, of the Breelanders and even men from the south, though most hobbits have little interest in foreign matters, and keep to themselves for the most part. The East Farthing also houses Scary, a village with dark limestone caves, though dark is perhaps too strong a word for hobbits, who would never abide true darkness. They use the caves as storage for root vegetables, apples and cheese, and the folk here are industrious, cheerful, and as with all hobbits, fiercely independent. Now we come to the West Farthing, and here, my dear friends, lies the heart of the Shire. Hobbiton is here, and Bywater too, with its cosy inns, gardens, and bustling markets. When you think of the Shire as a land of comfortable homes nestled in hillsides and round doors painted in cheerful colours, you are thinking of the West Farthing. Hobbiton is perhaps the most famous of all of the Shire's villages, and it is here that the Baggins family lives, in Bag End atop the hill. Oh, Bag End, that green door half hidden in its hill. Few other doors in Middle-earth can have seen such history unfold upon their threshold. I remember visiting Hobbiton and walking along the Bywater Road. The simplicity and the peace of that place was like a song from a mother's lullaby, soothing and warm. The folk here are lively and sociable, fond of festivals, food and drink. Every year they celebrate the Free Fair on the White Downs, a gathering where hobbits from all the farthings come together in joyful merriment. And on midsummer, the songs, games and the feasting stretch late into the night. Now, though not strictly a part of the Four Farthings, Buckland is a notable region to the east of the Shire across the Brandywine River. Founded by the Old Bucks, who later became the Brandy Bucks, Buckland is a land of hedges, rivers, and a people slightly unorthodox, at least by Hobbit standards. These are the most adventurous hobbits, and many make a habit of boating along the Brandywine River. The Bucklanders, as they are called, even keep a great hedge known as the High Hay to shield themselves from the old forest which lies close by. And believe me, that forest is no ordinary wood. It is old, full of secrets, and far more alive than the trees of the Shire. But Bucklanders are not easily scared, and they live their lives in quiet but adventurous independence, a bit apart from the other hobbits that we know of. Lastly, let me speak briefly of the West March. This region, lying between the Far Downs and the Tower Hills, was granted to the Shire by King Elisar in the Fourth Age. Though hobbits are not a people given to expansion, they welcomed the land with a reverence and care, and today new hobbit holes dot the hillsides of the westward land. So there you have it, my friend, all I know of the Shire and its regions, though I am sure there are many tales yet to be told of the Shire. I hope this lesson has taught you much of the lands of the hobbits, and perhaps you feel as though you have travelled there yourself, in spirit if not in body. It is a land set apart, a place where peace and simplicity reign. Even as the great events of Middle-earth pass on, and the elves depart these shores, the Shire will endure, so long as hobbits dwell in their rolling hills and care for the land. I hope that, in some corner of your heart, you carry a little of the Shire with you now, as I have carried it with me ever since my first journey through its green fields. Indeed, for all the grandeur of our elven realms, there is something to be learned from the hobbits. A lesson in finding joy in the small and ordinary things, in valuing home and hearth above all else. The Shire endures, nestled between the hills and fields, forever unchanged and ever content. And I, though far from their land, am warmed by the memory of its green, gentle ways.